Again, guys, if you don't mind, if you're able to, please turn on your cameras. Now, if you can't, I get it. I completely get it. If you're in a position where you cannot or would just, I get it. But if you can at all, please do. It's very frustrating to speak to people and converse with people on a black screen. So theoretically, guys, you met somehow, right? Either digitally or via chat or on Zoom. How many of you guys actually set up a Zoom for your group? Anybody? You may do like a Google chat or anything like that, some type of, okay, good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work our way through group by group, and hopefully someone from each group is here today. Essentially, what we would normally do in the course of a year is after we make our formal presentations, typically at the very end of April or beginning of May, you would then, as a group, meet for about a week and come up with a presentation where you present to the class in a formal way in the classroom setting your actual answer to the question, formative question you created as a group, post individual presentations. Well, we can't really facilitate that. We're not going to attempt to. Today is the day that you're reporting, all right? So, Frank, you or Oswald want to share? Or is Oswald here? Yeah, there he is. Which one of you guys are sharing?
I don't mind. So we are going to go with my solution, the Feeding America organization.
Hold on, I'm out just a minute. What I need to hear from you is your guys' formative questions. Start with that, right? And then transition into maybe some of the potential solutions, what solution you guys decided on, how you decided on it, and what evidence it's based on, kind of just a real mini semi-formal type of thing. Don't worry about it. You got this. You probably were going to do all that anyway. Knock it out. I apologize for interrupting. It's your floor, Frank.
Yeah, so our formative question is, how can we better treat mental illness among the homeless population? And our two solutions between Osvaldo and I are nature-based therapy and the Feeding America organization's application Meal Connect. And so we're going to go with the Feeding America organization's application Meal Connect. And so basically where individuals can connect excess food to the application and food banks can pick it up and supply local homeless shelters in order to treat mental illness.
Why did you guys decide solely on one of the group member solutions rather than maybe a combination? Not a critique, just asking for information.
The nature-based therapy is more suited towards veterans, whereas the food application is suited towards the entire mental illness population.
Understood. So it's more, the nature base is more for PTSD type of thing, huh? Okay.
Right.
Well, so you have an answer. And you guys solved a local issue with Global Connection as a group. So all you lack is your reflective paper, which we will cover in just a moment. All right. Thank you, Frank. Team 2, who's up for you guys?
All right. I'm trying to pull up the list, but my computer died because I'm going to give like the whole, like what everybody had and then which one we're doing. So give me a minute, please.
Have you found it yet, Jacob?
Yeah, again, my computer died, so it's having to like reboot and start up and whatnot.
Gotcha. You want me to go to another group and let you get that squared away?
Yeah, it's just going to take a minute, but okay. Yeah, sure.
Super 7. Who's here for Super 7? Super 7. Luke, you got this?
I thought
The spokesperson is supposed to, but the spokesperson wasn't speaking up. Who's the facilitator for your group?
I'm the facilitator. Ainsley's the spokesperson.
Okay, you want to facilitate Ansley speaking up? Hey, Ansley, you got this?
I'm here.
Hey, there she is. Woohoo! Ansley, you guys had what seemed to be an advantage, but really is a disadvantage in this particular situation, in that you had a really large, cumbersome group because of the awkward number in that particular class, but you guys have done a bang-up job with it. So I'm eager to hear what group solution you guys wound up coming up with. Go for it. You there, Ansley?
Yeah, sorry, you lagged on my computer for a second, so I missed what you said.
Oh, I got you. My apologies.
Okay, so like we just discussed most of the like clean energies and just really like went back and looked at all of our PowerPoints. And then we tried to do like just a little like chart bar graph that we could look at. And overall we thought that just mainly switching over to biofuels instead of like oil and stuff that we use in our cars now would not only be like the easiest for us, but it would be like a more efficient way to reduce greenhouse gases quicker than any other clean energy.
Okay, so remind the class of what your question was.
Our question was, how can we reduce greenhouse gases?
Okay, and now your formal answer.
To switch all of our cars over to biofuel energy.
Okay. Now the process, did you guys choose any type of combination or compromise solution, or did you go with one of your group member solutions?
That was Luke's solution.
Okay, gotcha. I appreciate it. You guys worked hard. We'll get to the demands of the reflective paper when we make it through the group. Team 2, are you now prepared?
I reckon.
You reckon?
Yeah.
All right. You have the floor.
All right. So our question was, how can we prevent urban flooding? And after much discussion within our group, we have decided that the best course of action would be to go with Hannah's solution, which was the use of porous materials and porous roads and whatnot.
And whatnot. Yeah, she did a really good job on her presentation. So if you watched it, I can see how that would be convincing for sure. And again, guys, normally
Those of us that
say again.
I said those of us that slept through that one had to go back and.
Well, the other group actually pulled you out there, didn't they? They were very gracious and allowed you to present with them, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So normally this would be a formal style presentation in class, post individual presentations. But guys, this is fulfilling the requirements. So we're going to continue with it. Goon Gang, you're up. By the way, you have a visitor here, and I think maybe the visitors should understand that you guys on the very first day, right after Christmas, when you went into your groups, decided on your own names for your teams. These were not instructor assigned. So there you go. By the way, Mr. Barnett, would you like to speak to the class very briefly? Say hi.
Good morning, guys. Just dropping in to check on how things are going and say hello. Sounds like you guys are doing some awesome work, and I didn't get to drop in for a lot of the presentations last week, but I tried to get into a few, and what I was able to see, it sounded like y'all were doing an excellent job. So keep up the good work. We've got, obviously, remember, we've got awards night tomorrow night at 7. We'll go live. So we've been putting that video together. So you'll have that to look forward to. And then we should have information that some came out yesterday and some will probably be either coming out later today or tomorrow in regards to graduation. So I know that's been sorry, my little one's checking in with us too. So, but some information will be coming out about that for those of you that are curious as far as how we'll be doing that. So I don't want to take up any more of your time. Good morning. Keep up the good work.
All right. Thank you. Goon Gang, who's up for you guys? Let me look through the names real briefly. Let's move on to Demob. Demob.
Cole's working right now, so
Okay.
does just anybody from our group do it?
That's fine. Just report out. That'll be fine.
Alrighty. So we put ours in paragraph form because we didn't really know how this is. So if we just read it, would that be all right?
That's fine. That's
It's
perfect.
just a short paragraph.
Absolutely fine.
Alrighty. All right. But the question of how can the mental health crisis be resolved concerns a very complex and dire issue. A final solution has been found. The crisis can be resolved through increasing the use of cost-efficient treatments, further environmental exposure, intensifying research, destroying stigma, and applying and using technological advances in therapy. All of these methods have been proven to increase the quality of treatment and or the number of mentally ill that are treated, meaning their combined effects would resolve the crisis.
Fantastic. Exactly what I was looking for. Thank you, Will. Good job, Demob. Y'all rocked it. Team Apex, who's up?
Our question was, how do we protect marine biodiversity? And some of our solutions were farm raising bluefin tuna or taking them off the menu. And we decided that if we begin to increase the farm raising of the bluefin tuna, then we can wild bluefin off the menu.
Okay. And how did you guys come up with this particular solution?
Farm raising had the biggest impact on recovery of the species. And so it was just an easy decision, and then it would be the best for taking wild bluefin off the menu.
Yeah, it seems like a really direct, common sense solution to the issue, doesn't it? All right, well, thank you guys. Y'all worked hard, and I appreciate it. Team Kobe, who's up?
I've got it.
All right, Lauren. Hang on just a minute. Let me find something here. Okay, you have the floor.
Okay. So our question was, how can we reduce the number of dead zones in our oceans? And we had 4 potential solutions, which was laws and regulations, constructed wetlands, pay for performance programs for farmers, and eco-friendly fertilizers. And we decided to kind of combine all of those together. And our final solution is enforcing a pay for performance program by law. And we just thought this would help farmers maximize BMPs to reduce nutrient pollution. And we also found eco-friendly fertilizers and constructed wetlands as practices that could do so because they are cost-effective and help the environment.
Rocked it. Great job, Team Kobe. Y'all did a great job the entire time, and I appreciate it. I hate to say this and go live, oh, not live, but go on to YouTube, but here we go. Horse beaters, you're up.
Hey. Okay. So our question was #resistance, how can we save healthcare? But it basically boiled down to how can we solve the antibiotic resistance crisis? And so it'd be practically impossible to eradicate antibiotic resistance entirely. So reducing its occurrence and mitigating its effects would be the next best option. So as a group, we saw that no one effort or solution would be sufficient enough to achieve this. So we decided best to seek a combination of all of our individual solutions. So that'd be CRISPR, bacteriophages, research and development investment, and proper use of antibiotics. Those are the solutions of all the people that presented in our group.
So just an amalgam solution is what your group decided was best to address the problem, because in reality it addresses different aspects of the problem. So good deal. Great job, guys. Y'all worked hard, researched well, researched deep, as a matter of fact. Good job. Too short, too tall. You're up.
Our question was how to reduce opioid addiction. We had 3 solutions: using non-invasive brain stimulation, a sprint device, and using local partnerships within the community to reduce opioid addiction. Although we thought that the devices would seem the best option, but that would be only in a medical field and not really outside the hospital. So we went with local partnerships because there were several aspects to it that could help reduce opioid addiction.
Okay, and how did you guys come up with this particular answer? In this case, it's a question I haven't asked the other groups. I'm just wanting to ask a group, like, literally the process you used this week. Did you guys do an online meeting, or what did you guys do?
Well, we just texted through the group and we placed their ideas out and see which one was better.
Got you. I'm going back to Goon Gang. Let me see here. Give me a moment, guys. Let me pause the recording briefly. All right, guys. So at this point, we need to look at the reflective paper. Here's procedurally what's going to happen this week. On Friday, I will go ahead and put up 1, 2, 3 assignments that will have the name artifact in them, okay? These are assignments for which you've already turned. And that did not go well as a sentence, that structure. Don't judge. Anyway, you haven't turned these, you have turned these assignments in already. You may have tweaked them, okay? They will be the final artifact copy of the paper 2 from last semester, the final artifact copy of your individual presentation transcript, and the final artifact copy of your individual presentation PowerPoint. I will make them due on Monday of next week, okay? So 5 days from now. But I will put them up on Friday in case you want to go ahead and knock that out. The 4th assignment you will be turning in is going to be assigned today, and that's your reflection paper. I will not make that live until Monday, okay? And that'll be the artifact reflection paper. What I want to do now is, Eli, if I didn't answer your question, and you can re-ask it, but hopefully I've answered it. Excuse me. Basically, reflection is built into learning. An effective learner is a reflective learner. You've had this hammered into your head now for a couple or 3 years. Part of your overall 35% that is related to the presentation is the 10 marks that are assigned for the reflective paper. Pardon me, the 10% there. And you need to do well on it, but good news, there's no research. You know this. There's no sources at all, no work cited. Essentially, it is literally a look back at the process and its impact on you as a learner. So what I would like to do is pull up my, if I can find it. Whiteboard. There it is. Okay. If you look on the syllabus under reflective paper, the 10 marks, hang on just a second. You can see that it is 10% of the overall marks. You can read it straight off of here. I don't know what good me reading it to you will do, but at the end of the process, which you are now at the end of the process, you're going to write your reflective paper. And when it says maximum 800 words, that's what it means, guys. When they grade these, when they have graded these, and if they were to look at your artifact, they would only consider the first 800 words. So it does not matter how much you wax poetic after 800 words, it doesn't matter. And you're specifically supposed to focus on, and please look at that closely, how the team worked together. That is a process, right? How you guys made any decisions, how you interacted, the structure of how you decided to move forward, meetings, etc. How you work together, what could be improved, and then any changes to your personal view, shape of the collaborative experience. Those are the three elements, right? Those are the three elements that must be in there. And in covering those three elements, you have to include your team's agreed upon effective and workable solution. All right. So what you presented today has to, in some capacity, be worked in. All right. So it tells you what you're going to be assessed on in the next 4 bullet points. You have to evaluate your own effectiveness working with others in a team and identifying the local problem with global relevance. Also, how you work with others in a team, identify, challenges, benefits, etc. Consider the ways how your personal standpoints have been affected by the research and the collaborative experience. It doesn't necessarily have to only be about the actual topic, although most likely that'll be the centerpiece. It could be about how you learn. Your opinion on group learning could be thrown in, for example. And then obviously, as always, in a reflection, identify the need for further research on this particular academic topic in light of your research findings, okay? Now, I will entertain questions.
Will there be example reflective papers on Canvas?
Let me pause the recording. Hang on just a moment. Okay. I'm hesitant to do that, and here's why. Cambridge does a really, really, really good job of marking, and a very consistent job of marking. But when they report back the scores, they only give us the paper 3 scores, the component 3 scores. And they don't break it down between the presentation and the reflective paper. So we could literally have a student who made an A who got 2 out of 10 marks on the reflective paper. Follow what I'm saying? So I'm hesitant to do so because I can't validate what the mark was, but I can kind of try and look and see what, a good reflective paper looks like, and put a copy of that on there for you if you'd like. but I don't know that it's something you necessarily want to model on. Inherently, a reflective paper is yours, and it's a very personal thing, because quite frankly, some people may just glow about the group learning process, et cetera, and some people may rip it apart, you know. Just make sure that you address those 3 elements, and that you discuss your effectiveness and your ability to work with the team, and how your personal standpoint has been modified and why. And then why further research needs to be done. If you do that, you can't not get your marks. Does that make sense? So I guess my answer is I'm going to endeavor to try to find one as best I can. However, and this is what I tell my children, Will, you may hear this from your parents, this is not a promise I'm making you. You got it? All right. I'm not a promise breaker, but I will endeavor to try to find something, okay? All right. Yeah, let's restart that. You know what? Where's the recording part? Let me stop the share for a moment. All right, are there further questions about the process, when you turn in what's due, the elements of the reflective paper, etc.? Any questions? Oswaldo, you good? Oh, you literally just, okay. There are going to be 4 artifact assignments you have to submit to me on Canvas, and that will become sort of the de facto artifact file that we use for justification, and that's going to be the paper 2, that research paper that you've already written, the best copy you have of that. It will be your paper 3 presentation, in other words, your individual presentation transcript, your individual presentation PowerPoint, and then the reflective paper. So there are 4 artifacts. Further questions?
So this one's going to be due on Monday, right?
Well, technically, I'm putting up a due date next week for the other 3 as well, but I'm going to go ahead and make them live this week because many of you already have them prepared and ready. But yes, technically Monday. And Monday, yeah, well, I'll cover Monday. How's that? So yeah, Monday will be the due time on that one for the reflective paper. Further questions?
Is there a certain way we need to format the file names?
You know what? Normally, yes. But now, no. Because
is it individual files for each?
Yeah, well, basically we have, how to say this? You don't have to save it in this particular format. You don't even have to have your formal title page unless your particular documentation methodology requires that, etc. You just have to have your best copy in of what you have, okay? Now, if you do add information to it, like in the form of a title page, you need your name and your student number with Cambridge, etc. But none of that is required, and I didn't walk through the details of the structure of that because it's unnecessary, because inevitably any audit for grading purposes from Cambridge will be name specific, candidate number specific, in which we pull your artifact file anyway. So I think you're good. Okay.
So like the names of the files, do we need to be like, you know how?
Yeah, go ahead and give them as formal a title as you can, like Eli Noel, paper 3, presentation transcript, artifact.
Okay.
You know, something like that.
Okay.
Further questions? And Oswaldo, I saw your last question is probably one a lot of people have pressing on their minds right now. I will cover that once I cover all the details of the assignments and everything, so hang on. Further questions about the assignments, due dates, structure, etc. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording.